Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Guess what? We have some parts. I've been waiting for parts for a very long time for the Ford Fairlane. And I told you guys we're not trying to take away from the classic value of the Fairlane, but there are some things that I just want to upgrade. I want it to be a great performing car. And we're going to do everything from suspension, transmission, engine. Everything's going to be upgraded to my liking. I know some people may not like certain things that I'll do, but it's my car, so I pretty much can do what I want to. So if you looked at this box already, you see the SPC performance insignia all over this box. I actually ordered some other upper control arms, and after 5.5 weeks, I was like, okay, I like the other arms. These arms are actually better. They were a little more expensive, but I did find them at a really, really neat performance dealer, and I got them about $63 cheaper than they were anywhere else. So let me stop talking and get to opening. These are the SPC Performance Upper Control Arms. And I'm going to show you why they are special and the reason why I like them. Okay, got the hardware. Okay, and they even include the instructions, which we're going to adhere to the instructions because it's a lot involved with these control arms. And this is the SPC Performance sticker. Let's get the packaging out of the way and open this bad boy up. So we're going to leave the hardware in there. This is the ball joint, which is a 4-bolt ball joint for you guys who are doing your suspension on your rides. This is a 4-bolt ball joint, and it is a high quality one. You can tell just by looking at it. It comes with all the hardware, castle nut, and even the cotter pin. So I'm gonna set that aside. And let's open up the actual arm so you guys can see what quality looks like. And these things are really packaged well. And the other arms that I had ordered were kind of look like a stock arm that had been boxed in and reinforced. These are fully tubular. One thing you'll notice is this really thick billet mounting block. And that's where it's going to mount up to the outside of the shock towers, and that's where your suspension. Now, one thing that is very, very good to take note of, this has a built-in Shelby drop. Now, some of you guys are not going to know what a Shelby drop is, but Google it. Just Google Shelby drop and it'll tell you all about it. But back in the day, Carroll Shelby found in the Mustangs and all the Fords that he was able to, instead of mounting the bolts in the factory location, what they would do is they would put a template in and they would drill holes that were about, I can't remember, it was 1 inch or 2 inches lower than the stock mounting points. And then they would lower those upper control arms and would give the cars a much better handling radius and things like that. It corrected, in their opinion, steering geometry, which was much more better for for performance. Now these already have the built-in Shelby drop, so it's already a lower mount. When you put these in and mount them up, it's already going to lower it, and you have the option of not doing that. Now both arms come assembled for the left-hand side of the car. You're like, oh no, you got 2 left arms. Well, what you do to make it a right arm, you just flip it over so that the R is up, and then you just swap, undo this and put it up on the other side, and then you're good to go. So 2 things to note. 1, this thing is super heavy duty. It has rollerized bearings as opposed to what you might get in a stock arm. Super thick these aren't going anywhere. The stamped ones that you have on the car, and you'll see when we go to start changing that stuff how significant this is. Has your spring mounts here, and when you go to mount the ball joint in, you have 3 different positions that you can move the ball joint in or out, in towards the car or out. You have 3 positions, so you can change the camber angle of your ball joint by moving those, and they have detailed instructions on each car where it is best or what they feel like is a starting point. And yeah, totally adjustable suspension, something my 66 Ford Fairlane never had and it's going to have now. SPC, get you some. Now that we have, and if you tuned into one of the earlier videos, I did an unboxing on the lower arms, and we're using Global West lower arms. So what's going in between there? We're doing away with the heavy, obnoxiously heavy coil springs that are on currently the stock Ford Fairlane, and we're going to replace it with something else. Matter of fact, it's a couple of something else. Viking Performance, made in the in the good old USA. Waited a long time for these guys, but it is well worth the wait. Coilover Viking coilover shocks for the Ford Fairlane. Double adjustable. I believe, if I do remember right, and if I'm wrong, you guys are going to correct me anyway. I believe it's like 136 different settings that you can dial in your suspension with. Now these will mount where the original shock did. Beautiful piece, by the way. And here is the mounts, which will connect right in here, right on that arm. Can you see that? That's where they're going to bolt in. So you got all the hardware to mount the shocks. You got the bushings that go all the way up into, it mounts in the exact same place as your standard shock. It has adjusters on it. So how are you going to adjust it? Where is the spring? I'm so glad you asked. And I actually brought down here the one that I have not opened yet. So I guess we're going to have to find something to cut into this and open it. But these springs are kind of a hybrid. They're for a coilover shock, but the beauty of these is that what you can do is, these are the springs. Beautiful pieces, powder coated, silver. Can you imagine what that's going to look like in that, under that fender well after all that rusty? Well, it wasn't rusty. It was whoever undercoated this. This has, I think, the factory undercoating on it, and they did a great job because nothing under there is rusted at all. So this is kind of a hybrid spring. Normally, when you get a coilover shock, it'll have a spring that basically lines right up with this, and it goes up, and you can adjust it. This is what we would call a hybrid, in that the top of the spring will mount up in where the original spring did, and these, once you put the well, let's just slide this up on there so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to scoot it on down there. One of the things that did not come, and I don't know why, I did email the company and find out, hey, we're missing some things. And so what will happen is this will mount up into the shock tower area where the old spring came out in a factory location, while it sits right here on a coilover type shock. Beautiful, beautiful piece, beautiful setup. I can't wait to get all of this installed. It's gonna be epic. But yes, I'm loving it. I had to wait for a while, but know this, when you get parts on anything right now, and you guys know, it's gonna take a while. So sometimes you just have to be patient. You gotta say, am I gonna wait for what I want, or I'm just gonna get something in anything? Well, I have the opportunity and the ability to wait and get the Fairlane stuff however it comes in. I'm not rushing it. I'm in no hurry. So yeah, that's what's going in there. And what we are missing is one of the things that I did order was the spanner wrench. And then what will happen, you put one of these down on there. And we also ordered thrust bearings. Now, if you don't get the thrust bearings, trust me, because I had coilovers on my Fox Body Mustang, and we did not use the thrust bearings. And every time we went to adjust that suspension up or down, now you're going to put anti-seize on these threads anyway. But in order for you to be able to adjust this spring up or down, there needs to be what is a rollarized thrust bearing. And what it'll do, it'll make that just roll just as smooth. And as you're adjusting it, instead of fighting against the spring and the pressure, it just rolls right on through. Now, we did order those thrust bearings with this kit. However, they did not come in our box. And I immediately emailed the company that I ordered them from, and I will be getting back with you guys as soon as they ship those to me. I'm not thinking it's going to be a problem, because I did go online and I did see that particular spanner wrench and the thrust bearings all over the place. I could have bought them and had them here tomorrow, but I've already paid for the thrust bearings. I planned on putting all this on this weekend, but I dare not put these on without those thrust bearings, because you can put it all together if you want to, but you'll have to take it all apart, and it's just not worth it to fight with those springs and adjustments. So yeah, the Viking coilovers for the 66 Fairlane. Yes, I am excited. I've been waiting on these. I love these. Can't wait to get them installed. But that is the unboxing video for today. So everybody, just know, if you're not liking the Fairlane stuff, hey, I can understand to a point. But for all you guys who came along when I did, you know that if you ever changed out the old control arms in these old Mustangs and Fairlanes and all that, technology has come a mighty long way. Back in the day when I did cars, when I came out of high school, I had a 68 notchback Mustang. You didn't have an option. You went to the local parts store, and believe me, it was no AutoZone and what's the other one that's so far? O'Reilly, none of those things. We had a local parts store, and where I lived, there was the name of the town, and it said Auto Parts. And it was always about 10 older guys in there when we would go in there, and we'd be trying to make our cars go faster, get some better parts, and the old guys would tell you, hey, I got that on my car, and you know, now you go in, not so much. Most of the time, if it's not on a computer screen, some of these guys that are in the shops now can't figure it out. And I'm not throwing shade at them, because, you know, if you don't know, you don't know. But know this, the Maverick is still my daily squeeze. But when it comes to the Fairlane, we are definitely not going to be playing around. So, spoiler alert, let me tell you this. Right now, I don't want to give away some of the things that we're going to be, how did I do that? I don't want to give away some of the things that we're going to be doing to the Fairlane, because it's the element of surprise. It's like telling you the story and giving you the ending before we get there. No, I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to tell you is, expect this on the Fairlane. Expect that front suspension to go on there. Now we have just about a complete package of what we need up there to do what I want to do. I thought about doing the manual steering. I'm kind of up in the air on this, whether to go manual or to keep the power steering, which what it has. The older power steering, it leaves much to be desired. There are a number of things that we can do to address that, and we're gonna fry that egg when we get to breakfast time on that. One of the other things that we do want to do up front, it has disc brakes up front, and obviously if you're going to do anything performance on any vehicle, disc brakes are like a gotta have. So disc brakes are definitely going up front. Now the rear end, my 66 Fairlane has an 8-inch rear end. There is a differential that you can replace, because mine has single, it does not have Positrack. It has really high gears. I would say probably 2 something, because out of the hole it's kind of lackluster. Now when you get up to speed, yeah, it'll take off and go, run away. But I want to address that. And I thought to maybe just do a Positrack in the 8-inch rear that's under there and be done with it. But guys, I just have to tell you, I'm not power hungry, but I love me some horsepower. I love horsepower, and I can tell you this. I'm not going to tell you what combination that is going under that hood. That 289 is going to get tucked away, saved. So no one PM me and want to know if I'll sell you my 289 out of my 66. No, that 289 is a piece of history. It runs excellent. It doesn't smoke. It hasn't used any oil. It runs excellent. So those things are bulletproof, and they're getting harder and harder to find. So the 289 will get tucked away, away from harm and rust and all those things. But what's going under that hood, I'm not going to tell you. But I will tell you this. When it's all said and done, and I'm not sure what the horsepower rating is on that 289. I want to say 200 and some horsepower maybe. I don't know. I'm old, but I ain't that old. But I can tell you this. We will probably triple the horsepower of the 289 when we get done. Very close, if not over. Triple the horsepower that we now have. We're going to keep the automatic, but we're going to be doing something with that too. And I'll tell you this, I had a C4 automatic in my 92 LX Mustang. And that LX Mustang on the dyno with 12 pounds of boost, it only had 8.8 to 1 compression. With 12 pounds of boost, it put down 662 horsepower and 662 torque to the tires. It had 31 by 18 and a half tires in the back. So yeah, you're losing horsepower through those big giant tires. So we never turned it up. And that was one of those cars that, we built it. What are we going to do with it? So we took it to shows. I really wanted to take it to the track, but I didn't want to put any more cage in it. And I didn't want to blow up stuff. So that car ended up getting sold. I miss that car. I wouldn't mind having that back, but that's flipping the page, and we don't go backwards, we go forwards. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to my wife for doing a little bit of filming, and she actually got me coming out of the garage and back into the garage. I don't know how much of the footage she got, but I can tell you this, I didn't hit anything, so that's always a plus. So keep tuning in. Fairlane stuff is coming at you, along with some update news on the Ford Maverick. So keep tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.
And that is a 1966 Ford Fairlane.